just such a gut punch for fans of a team that I think the Viking fans, Greg can speak to this obviously better than me, but didn't expect this team this year to be contending. Like they said, okay, we're probably taking a step back. But the whole idea behind the season was we have a first-round pick at quarterback for the first time since Christian Ponder, and a first-round pick we believe in at quarterback probably for the first time since Dante Culpepper, and now we're going to get to see what he can be, and now it's all on hold. And so it's a huge bummer, and I just don't know where you go from here if you're Minnesota.
Well, you go to Sam Darnold because that's all you got right now. And they weren't expecting him clearly to be the wire-to-wire, meaning start the year and finish the year as the starting quarterback. And to your point, the expectation was to allow this young kid, J.J. McCarthy, to develop, to see the game, to learn a little bit more, but yet to get exposed this year and continue this idea of we have our guy, we're going to allow him to mature because we have pieces around him that suggest that he could be very good very early and he doesn't have to shoulder everything. Typically when young guys, first-round quarterbacks that are drafted to a team, they're going to a difficult situation.
Yes.
That was not the case in this moment for the Vikings. And so I think that's what's so disappointing. We've never seen, as a Michigan fan, even with Jim Harbaugh as this quarterback or head coach, we never saw the full potential of who J.J. McCarthy could potentially be as a pass thrower. This was going to be our first exposure to that with Kevin O'Connell as his head coach and play caller. And so we don't get to see that. It's been put on hold for a year, which is unfortunate because he's a great kid, and they really like where the trajectory of his direction was headed.
Yeah, this is really difficult organizationally because it's not like the Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love situation where when you have Aaron Rodgers, you know that you're going to be able to compete at a high level, and then if you have to bring in Jordan Love, you feel like you have a candidate that can, you know, if you're in the mix, that can help you continue along that pathway, and he had time to develop. Here you had a very short-term answer, and you hoped it gave him time to see a little bit of what's happening and then get into play. Now you don't even have that aspect of it, and you really don't know what you have going into next year. You don't know whether he's truly the answer or not the answer. You don't know any more information than you did coming out of the draft. Yeah, granted, you get some work with him in the classroom. It's just different, and it's hard to plan moving forward.
All right, so I have two questions. First question is not for someone on the set. Are we positive that the Vikings have their first-round pick next year? Josh, that was a question for you. I just thought of it, and I wanted to make sure before we launched into this conversation that they still had their first-round pick.
So the Vikings, I thought they traded 2 seconds to move up back into the first this year, and they do have their first-round pick next year.
Okay.
Check me on that, Josh, but I think that's
they do,
what
right, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is this. Are they trying to win this year?
No.
I mean, not win, but I mean like, good news, we got 8 wins. Like, what is this? Or are we just trying to take our foot off the gas a little bit?
No, I think they
Justin
want to
Jefferson, you're feeling a little bit sore.
I don't think you can throw away a year, especially when you think you have. The only reason in the NFL to tank, and no one really does I understand, but is if you are targeting a quarterback. I think the Vikings are still hoping we have the quarterback. And if you're not drafting a quarterback, the difference between the fourth pick and the 12th.
You couldn't have the number 1 and use it as trade bait?
Yeah, but I don't think they're bad enough for that. I don't think they're I don't think they're bad enough.
No, they're nowhere near bad enough because offensively they have talent. They have a really good opportunity offensively pending the quarterback play. And now
who's their quarterback? Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold now finally has an opportunity in his defense to be put around talent that's in front of him, behind him, all around him. And so with the Jets, with the Panthers, that wasn't the case. And now he has a situation where he can make the best of it. We'll see what that best looks like.
And Sam Darnold got a decent contract. There's obviously some belief in the organization that Sam Darnold can come in and help them win games. And in fairness to Sam, if you look at his last stretch in Carolina, he was 4-2. And he did have a 92 quarterback rating, and Baker was there, and they pulled him, and it didn't work out for either guy. Now, Baker's gone on and done really good things and gotten another big contract. Maybe Sam has an opportunity, since this is his team, to have that same Baker trajectory.
So I know there is hope for that. I know, you mentioned that yesterday initially. I think the Darnold numbers for his career speak for themselves. I don't think I just don't think he is a starting caliber quarterback in this league. It doesn't get much worse than that across the board. You're right. The most recent thing we saw was the best, so that would give you the glimmer of hope.
Yep.
That is not the question I thought you were going to ask, Wilds.
Well, I have several.
Well, oh, okay. Because if I may, I'm one of a few hundred people that follow Kevin Wilds on social media.
I put this one out into the ether.
My kids follow you too.
But Coach doesn't, which means he didn't see this. It was just minutes after this news was announced. If I was the Vikings, I'd trade for Mac Jones. Sam Darnold is not a QB1 for 17 games.
He's not.
Okay, well, neither is Mac Jones. But
when Mac Jones plays a full season, we make it to the playoffs.
Okay, why did he not play full seasons? Because he got benched for his own poor play.
Yeah.
It's not. Which is, I'm glad though you did say that.
If we can't go over it in one segment from believing in Sam Darnold and maybe Sam Darnold feels great.
Us Pats fans can agree. Mac Jones is also not a QB
now I'm starting to
for
engage.
17 games, and he wrote, "We went to the playoffs."
We did.
I mean, Wilds.
We went to the playoffs.
He did go to the Pro Bowl too, didn't he?
And went to the Pro Bowl and hit the gritty.
Did.
Oh, him and Justin Jefferson, gritty off? I know why you want him out of there.
Okay.
I know, you support me. I have another question, though, just a serious one. Copycat league, we always talk about copycat league schematically. I think there's a little bit of a copycat league on deciding who to pay. Pay your blindside tackle.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're going to overpay for quarterbacks. And right now it feels like we're in the pay a lot for a top-tier wide receiver.
For sure.
If this doesn't go well, and it's like, oh, we're paying Justin Jefferson King's ransom, and right now he's not tilting the scale of us winning games with Sam Darnold here. Do you think that could change?
So I don't look at it that way. And this is where I don't like, but I understand quarterback wins.
Mm-hmm.
I am reflexively have like an anaphylactic reaction to wide receiver wins or defensive tackle wins. You are paying Justin Jefferson because he raises your ceiling so dramatically, but a wide receiver can't set your floor. And so I think that even if the Vikings were to go 2-15 this year, the way I look at football, it would not be a commentary on Justin Jefferson's value. I also think the Vikings would not be, most teams wouldn't say we want to have the highest paid receiver in the league and pair him with bad quarterback play. The Vikings thought they were pairing him with their franchise quarterback who they just drafted.
And it's so difficult for wide receivers. If they were the bad quarterback situation, it's hard to shine. And look at Randy Moss. The Raiders gave him away to New England. And then, once he was there, the eye-popping numbers he put up.
Yeah. Sorry, Greg. I know I didn't want to take money out of wide receivers' pockets.
Please. It's Justin Jefferson.
Stick around. More of the First Things First Best of Football show is coming.